Hello everyone, so today we are going to be discussing about classes in Arknights. By this video, I'm not going to be discussing about the subclasses in Arknights because that will be making the video too long. So instead, I will put a link in the description that will be linking you to our website which explains all the subclasses in Arknights and what do they do specifically. What we're gonna be talking about here is classes in Arknights. Okay, so first of all, in Arctic there are 8 classes. We're gonna be discussing each of them in detail, so you can build your own squad with your own playstyle. Hopefully, you can develop your own squad. You have a better understanding of each classes in Arctic and what do they do and what role do they play when in a stage. Okay, so let's start with the first one, Vanguard. To make it quick and simple, Vanguard are basically they're the first operators that you deploy on the stage, and the main role is to generate DP. DP is called deployment point that you use to deploy other operators. Now, the most recommended ones for beginner for Vanguard being Myrtle, Fang, Vanilla, and Plume. Okay, I highly recommend you to bring at least 2 Vanguards with you. Now let's go on to the next one, guards. Now what do guards do? Guards are basically like your main DPS. Okay, they usually have a block of 2. However, in some cases there are some guards that only can block 1 enemy, and these are called as a dreadnought. But to put it simply, guards who block 1 like Melanta for example, they are also a ranged guard. Ranged guard is basically guard that attacks like a ranged unit. For example, in low rarity ones is Midnight. Midnight is one of the most used when clearing stages with low rarity ones. Why? Because ranged guard can also hit the aerial units like drones or other stuff, right? That a normal guard cannot do. The next one being Centurion. Centurion are basically guards that attack or block enemies. So they are in a sense like an AoE guard. Okay, you can also call it an AoE guard. I highly recommend you to bring 2 guards with you, one being a ranged guard and another one being either a dreadnought or like guard that blocks only 1 enemy, or AoE guard, okay, or Centurion, whatever you want to call it. Recommendation, again, Midnight, Papuka Melanta can work, Arene can work. Next one, let's go to Defender. Now, Defender are basically operators that helps your team by stalling the enemy. They stall enemies because they have high block count. They usually have 3 block count, but there are also some defender that can even reach up to 4 block count or even up to 5. But that's for special situation. We're not gonna talk about that here. And there are also defender that can heal your allies. These are called healing defenders. Healing defender is highly recommended if you can bring 1 with you on your squad. What are the examples of healing defenders? Healing defenders, for example, are Spot. Spot is a 3-star rarity, so it should be pretty easy. Next one is Gummy. So if you have either of those 2, bring it with you to your squad. Now, other than healing defender, the other defender that I recommend you to bring is your normal defender. For example, like Beagle and the Guardian. Very recommend you to get those 2 on your squad, so you can block and stall enemies even better. Let's go to next, Sniper. Now, Sniper are basically ranged unit that deals physical damage. They are used for clearing mobs and killing enemies that have low def. Okay, that have low def and high res on them. For example, Cruise, Catapult, and Arknights is a very good choice for beginners. Rangers can also do, and they prioritize attacking aerial units. That makes it better to have two ranged snipers in your squad. Okay, I recommend you to bring two snipers in your squad. Next one is caster. Casters are basically units ranged operator that deals art damage. If sniper deals physical damage, then caster deals arts damage to enemy. So it is recommended to bring them against enemy with low res and high def. Now, what are the good ones? Okay, and caster can be divided into two: single target caster and AoE caster. Single target caster such as Steve, and AoE caster like Lava. To be honest, for beginner, I just recommend to bring Lava and Steve, and that's basically it, because you have a single target and AoE. You always bring one single target and one AoE caster, okay? Next one being medics. Your medics heals your allies, right? The only exception to this is card seat, but let's not talk why card seat is the exception. If someone asks in the comment, maybe I can explain it to you. So medic is divided into two again. There are single target medics and multiple target medics, or AoE medics. For example, single target medics are like Hibiscus or Ansel, and AoE ones being Perfumer. So I recommend you to bring one single target medic. It can be Gavial, it can be Hibiscus, it can be Cicero. There is a lot of other single target medics, and one AoE medic like a Perfumer or a Petitlops even if you have her. The next one, let's go to Supporter. Now, what does Supporter do? Now, Supporter basically supports your whole squad either by deploying summons, commonly known as Summoner class, Summoner subclass, or debuffing the enemy. Okay, either by slowing them, by applying debuff statuses on them, or by applying certain effects on them. Okay, for beginners, don't need to worry about those. All you need to focus on is to bring Orchid with you. That is the only good supporter that I recommend you to bring on your squad. When you progress later again to the game, you can start bringing a summoner like Deep Color, so you can summon tentacles to help your squad clear the stage. Okay, now that we're done, let's move on to the final class, Specialist. Specialist, as the class suggests, they are operator that specializes in certain tasks. For example, we have what we call as executor subclass, or we call it as a redeploy operator. What is a redeploy operator? Let's take example of Gravel. Gravel is an executor. What does Gravel do? Now, a redeploy operator basically means that this operator, for example Gravel in this position, is deployed only to stall enemies for little time, to buy that little time that you need, and then after that you retreat them and you deploy them when you need them again. That's called redeploy, because they have very little redeployment time. That's why they are called as redeploy operators. And there's also a special like that. Now, the two main features that a beginner should focus on other than redeploy operators are push and a puller. A pusher and a puller. What is a pusher and a puller? Basically, pusher is an operator that specializes in pushing enemies. They're called as push stroker. For example, Shaw. Shaw pushes enemy. Now, there are some stages in Arknights that have holes in it where you can actually push enemy towards that hole or pull them by using puller. Depends on how you want to play it and how the map is designed. And that's why this is very niche. You're not going to bring them all the time, but when you see that There is a stage that it needs a push and a pull. I highly recommend you to bring Shaw for pusher and rope for puller. Gravel is also optional. She's used only when you know that you need a panic button, like a sort of panic button, for you to just deploy an operator, stall enemies for a bit, and retreat, and then you can deploy it later when you need them again. This is not something that I think beginners should focus on. Like, again, specialist and supporter is not something I really think you should focus on in the beginning of the game. Like what I told you, bring 2 Vanguard, 2 Guard, 2 Defender, 2 Sniper, 2 Caster, and 2 Medic. Because I hope this video can make it clear to you guys what does these classes do. Let me know if you have any questions in the comment section. I will be glad to actually answer every single of your question. Thank you so much for the support that you've given me in the previous video. So I'm gonna start making videos like this, of course. And I'll see you guys in the next video. Goodbye, everyone. My fucking throat is sore. Holy shit. How many times have I retake this thing? I don't know. Well, I'm just gonna see you in the next video. Goodbye, everyone.